Welcome to another episode of Bobby's Kitchen, everyone, and today we are cooking up an instant classic. It's cheeseburger potato casserole. Cheeseburger potato casserole. It's one of those dishes that people won't believe it's healthy, they won't believe it's fix approved, but it totally is. We've got extra lean ground beef that has the same fat content as ground turkey. We've got a little bit of cheddar, but the right amount for our blue container. We're sneaking in veggies. The kids will not even mind them. They won't know they're there. It's gonna come together nice and easy. You got a 45-minute bake time, but you're just sitting on your couch smelling that goodness, waiting to eat. So let's get started breaking down these veggies. Real quick, let's do an onion breakdown. A lot of people don't actually know how to do one quick and easy like this, and the safe way where you don't cut yourself. So we're going to show you right here. You can see we've left the root intact. That's what we want. It's going to hold the onion together while we cut it. We're going to cut right through the middle. Lay it flat side down so it doesn't rock on you. Now some folks think that you need to cut this way, but you don't, because an onion is made up of layers that already go in that direction. So that's pre-cut for you by Mother Nature. All we got to do is cut straight down. So we'll follow the angle of the onion. And you can see how I'm holding my hand here. It's like, we call this a claw grip. This way the knife can ride on my knuckles like that, and it'll never hit my fingertip. When you extend your fingertip out, that's when you cut yourself. Keep the claw grip and you're safe. So we're going to go vertical cuts all the way around, following the curvature of the onion. Turn it to the side. Again, claw grip, come straight through, and look at that. We've got a dice. Instant dice, super easy. And when you get to the end, you know, you don't want to eat the root end. But if you really want to use up the last of that onion, we can just come in here and kind of cut around, cutting around the root, and then use those little bits. That's how we save that. We get rid of the root though. Alright, that onion always gets me. I'm sensitive to it. Doesn't matter how many years I cook, I always cry over onions. That's okay. Let's move on to this bell pepper. Here's how to seed and dice a bell pepper. Take the bottom off, set that aside. Top off, get rid of the stem. Now we can see that the veins are attached all here. We want to get rid of those because they're actually bitter. The easiest way to do that, cut into your pepper, and we're just going to fold it out as we cut around. Just like so. That releases all the seeds and the veins. Boom, you got a clean pepper. Get that last vein off. Now, to dice, you got a nice flat sheet. I always cut it in half, just makes it easier. Run your knife through. Now you're going to notice that I'm using this grip with my knife, my fingertip here. That way I can put my tip of my knife down, less contact with the pepper, so the knife slides through without as much drag. And I can just slice, hopefully, slice through without pulling all my pepper pieces along with me. Everything's stacked, turn it to the side, come back through, claw grip. Boom, dice. Alright, moving on to browning our beef now. Now browning the beef is very important. It adds a lot of flavor. That brown crust you get on beef when it's properly seared, they call that a Maillard reaction. That's a chemistry thing, but suffice it to say, you're bringing a lot of extra flavor to the dish. So you want to get your pan good and hot. Now you don't need non-stick for this. A lot of people think that, you know, if you're searing something like beef, if you don't have a non-stick pan, it's just going to be all stuck to the bottom. But that's not the case. Stainless steel just has to be preheated dry. Preheated dry so that the pores in the steel close up. Then you add your oil when it's good and hot. And how you know if it's good and hot is you take a little bit of water, and I'm going to dribble it in, and I'm going to see if it rolls around. See how it rolls? It doesn't just boil, it rolls around the pan. That means the pan is properly preheated. Get rid of that water, because you don't want your oil to splatter. Then you can add your oil. avocado oil, very healthy stuff. Also great because it has a super high smoke point, 500-degree smoke point, which means you can get a great sear on meat and you don't have to worry about starting a fire. Beef is going in. That's a good sizzle. That's what we want. Wooden spoon, start to break it up. Now, the first moment that it goes in, it'll stick, but it'll release as soon as it starts to cook. So we're just going to give it a second, let it brown on the bottom, and then we'll see how it releases. All right, beef is nicely browned all over, loving it. Now, here is another advantage of using stainless steel as opposed to nonstick. We're going to get this beef out and I will show you. Give me a bowl. Alright, now you can see we've got some brown bits on the bottom of the pan. That's very important. It's so important that the French actually have a name for it. They call it fond, which just means bottom. But that bottom stuff, we're going to bring that up with the liquid from the veggies, and there's a ton of flavor in there, and you won't get that with a nonstick pan. Alright, so we're going to add our other 2 teaspoons of oil to our pan. Again, good and hot. Veggies go right in. Now the vegetables have their own juices, which are going to be released by the cooking, and those juices are going to bring up all that foam off the bottom of the pan and make it a nice sauce. You could also use liquids. A lot of people will use like a wine or something here, but the liquid from the veggies should be enough for us. Alright, we can see those veggies release their juice, and all that brown bits on the bottom of the pan came right up. They are becoming part of our sauce. That is delicious. Alright, those veggies are beginning to soften. Let's get our tomato paste in. Just like a minute on the tomato paste and the seasonings to toast the seasoning and get some of the raw flavor out of the tomato paste. We got garlic and chili powder, salt and pepper. This is starting to smell so good, guys. I love the smell of toasting chili powder. A little bit of tomato. Get that all cooked off. And then we are going to add our liquid. Alright, that tomato paste is cooked. We're going to go in with our low sodium beef broth. Now that tomato paste gave us a new set of foam on the bottom that we're going to scrape up. And then we have our starch slurry. Starch slurry, say that 3 times fast. Starch slurry to thicken. You want to stir it before it goes in. It's mixed with water and it will sit on the bottom. You don't want that to happen. I'm using potato starch today. You can also use cornstarch. I prefer potato. It has a little bit of a silkier mouthfeel, which is nice. So we'll go in with that, stirring while we do it. That way we don't get any lumps. And you're going to immediately start to see things thicken. I'm going to add my beef back in. We're going to let this cook a few minutes just to let the flavors concentrate and get everything nice and thick so we don't have a runny casserole in the end. That is looking thick and delicious. Perfect. This is all done and we are going to set up for making our casserole. Right, now we need to thin slice our potatoes for this. The best way to do that is with a mandolin. Yes, you can do it with a knife, but it's a pain. It takes a long time and you're never going to get it as even as the mandolin. So I do really suggest having one of these around. They're a great tool. It has a guard. Use the guard when you start to get to the end of the potato. I could show you one of my fingers is missing part of a nail when I was testing this recipe because I didn't follow my own advice and I didn't use the guard. Here we go. Real simple. Just slicing. You're going to see makes these beautiful, even 1/8 inch thick slices, which are perfect for this kind of scalloped potato casserole. Flying in with that beautiful beef. We've got our potatoes sliced. We are ready to assemble our casserole. It's really easy, guys. We're just going to take potatoes. I've got a 9x9 casserole. It's a good size for this. I've sprayed it with cooking spray. And we are just going to start to layer. Just layering our potatoes in. They can overlap slightly. You can use the smaller pieces to kind of fill in little edges, little corners. And now we do a layer of beef. It's going to be 3 layers total. So you want to use about 1/3 of your beef and 1/3 of your cheese, 1/3 of your potatoes the whole way. I actually do a little bit of a cheat move, and I use a little bit less cheese in the first 2 layers, so I have a little extra to put on top because it makes it look nice. A little bit of cheese. More potatoes. And we saved a little bit of extra cheese just so the top has a nice layer that will look good coming out of the oven. Alright, I'm going to cover this with tin foil for the first 30 minutes of our bake, then I'll uncover it for the last 15 to let the cheese brown. We got the oven at 350 degrees. It's going to be a 45-minute cook. This is a hefty SOB and it needs some time in the oven. Guys, we are done and she is a beauty. I literally cannot wait to get into this. It smells so good in here. It's lava hot though. It's ripping hot. If you try to cut it right now, things are going to be sliding around, falling apart, and you're not going to be able to eat it. So we got to take a minute. We got to let it cool down to a reasonable temperature, something south of lava, and then we'll cut it up. 4 slices. Look at the size of this thing. 4 slices, you get a huge portion. It's going to be so good. So we will be right back. All right, guys, moment of truth. We're going to cut into this bad boy, see how it tastes. Still a little hot, but not too bad. Now this is 4 servings, so I'm just going to cut it down the middle both ways. Those potatoes are nice and tender. Cut right through them with a spatula. Alright, getting out the first slice is always the hard part. Let's see if we can go. Yeah. Oh yeah. That, my friends, is a thing of beauty. Alright, that is a monster serving, and that is 1 yellow, 1 green, 1 red, 1 teaspoon, and 1 blue. So you're eating the whole rainbow with this. You're not going over on any of your containers, but it's going to be just so filling and delicious. Alright, let's give it a try. Oh man, you guys, it's so good. It's creamy, it's cheesy, it's meaty, it's all the things. It's so delicious. Nobody would believe that this is health food, that this is Fix approved. If you brought this casserole to a family gathering and you didn't tell them till after they ate it, they'd be coming to my YouTube channel to figure out how to make it, even if they don't do Fixate. But like I said, you're eating the rainbow, you're getting one of each of those containers, yellow, green, red, blue, teaspoon, wonderful portion, it's great family size, and you're gonna love it. Your kids are gonna love it, they're not even gonna know they're eating vegetables. Alright guys, that is a wrap on cheeseburger casserole. All the directions and the measurements are down below in the description, so make sure you check those out. I hope you make it, I hope you love it. Leave me a comment about it, take a photo, post it to social media, hashtag it Bobby's Kitchen, so I can see what you're cooking up at home. And if you want more recipes like this, I think we have close to 1,000 more Fix approved recipes on body.com, so definitely check that out, and we'll see you next time.